Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's class. I'm having a minor problem here. I need to admit everyone one by one. Yo, this is really a problem. Yo, I don't know how I'm going to manage. Okay, guys, just by way of intro, my name is Simply Malebza. And I'm so happy to see that the people who've been joining us for lockdown are here, really, because, you know, registration is it's like a process, right? It's not an overnight thing. So you definitely need to make sure that you cumulatively get there. So guys, well done to you for making this time to really avail yourself. I'm just gonna start. My problem now is these admissions. Yo, I've got, Refilwe, can you turn on your mic, please, sir? As my guru, can you please turn on your mic? I just need to ask a question here, sir. Please help me.
Okay, I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
No, I can hear you, Refilwe. So I'm having a problem here. You know, this thing needs me to admit people one by one. Hey, I am shocked. I don't know if there's a way of defaulting admitting people. Do you know if there's a way?
Not if there is, it should have happened before the webinar.
Yes, yes. And this is not a webinar, so I think the problem is exactly that. Okay, it's fine. I'm gonna need to, all right, it's fine. I'm gonna need to to put this window somewhere in the screen, and it's going to interrupt my presentation. But I can see that I need to admit people one by one. It's such a problem. Yo, I thought I deactivated this thing, but I think they have it regardless. All right, no problem. Let me just continue. I just wanna make sure we are recording here. Okay, we are recording, perfect. Okay, so I see there are people to be admitted, but now I can't even see them. Sure. Okay, I'm going to start because unfortunately I cannot entertain this admission thing. It's drama. Okay, guys, welcome. Guys, happy Thursday. And I'd more specifically like to welcome our new members because we do have people that have been with us for the whole of lockdown. It was beautiful, really. We did the most. Okay, I see MM is got their hand up. Go for it, MM. MM had the hand up.
It was a mistake.
It was a mistake. Okay, that's fine. So guys, let me just touch up on the ground rules while I'm still trying to admit people here. Guys, so what normally happens is that, okay, somewhere, somehow, I'm supposed to see a hand. If somebody's got their hand up, I'm going to see it, and then we are going to take, so don't mind me when I pause. I'm admitting people, so don't mind me if I pause. Ne? I'm just looking at the other screen to admit people. So what I wanted to share about my classes, obviously, for those who have been attending, they know the rules. So normally what we do, what I prefer to do is when I go through a slide, guys, if you do have a question particular to that slide, please ask while we are still on the slide. I am not a fan of saving questions until the end. Obviously, at the end, we will have a Q&A. The Q&A is going to take general holistic questions. But if you have a question that is related to the particular slide, please ask me. So just raise your hand. I think I'm going to be able to see your hand. It's been a while since I did a class, so I can't remember, but I just saw the hand now, so I'll be able to see your hand. Okay, admitting. Then I also wanted to say, guys, please do this for me. Just keep your mic muted for the duration of the class. The only time you will switch on your mic is if you've got a question to ask. What this does is it really improves the quality of the recording for us. So please do that. I hope my network won't disappoint me. So I'm going to start because it is after 6. Let me just see my time. Yeah, we are actually 7 minutes late. So let me just start. Oh, guys, let me just add for those who are new, I'd like to really welcome you to Inspire the Next. You know, today's class is really brought to you by Inspire the Next movement. And what Inspire the Next movement really is about is connecting dream achievers with dream chasers. So obviously in today's class, I'm the dream achiever, you know, because I've been registered since 2008. I know a lot of people, when they see me, they don't think I'm 40, but yeah, I'm turning 40. Guys, I've been registered since 2008, and as a person, in my personal capacity, I've probably assisted over 500 people with their registration. I think probably this is something that probably God wanted me to do, and for whatever reason. But, you know, luckily it's something I'm very passionate about. I've shared the stats with you guys. You know, I currently have 2 coaching groups with, about 257 people, which is the capacity for YouTube. And really what I do in those groups is I want to just empower you guys. You know, it's upsetting to see people fail, because this thing is not difficult. It's really not difficult. The only problem with it is you really need to have a mentor. You know, even Exa says that you need to get a mentor from day one. So let me just stop there. But what I wanted to say about Inspire the Next is I do have a YouTube channel. And for those who have missed the classes during lockdown, please go to the YouTube channel and go empower yourself. Those classes were very powerful. And as I speak, people who attended during lockdown, I think we have about 20 people who have already been registered. It's amazing, because once people have clear direction, you know, the goal becomes like, I'm getting this today, not tomorrow. So that's just about Inspire the Next. Then I forgot how to navigate because it's been a while. All right, so one thing I always say to everyone that I mentor, and this is very important, guys, you need to know the person who is presenting to you. More specifically, because when we deal with engineering stuff, it's normally CPD accredited courses. I beg you to know who is presenting to you, because that is a matter of make or break, right? So this is a little bit about me. I am Lebo Maphumulo. I am the president of Inspire the Next movement. I graduated with a BSc and an MSc in engineering, electrical engineering to be specific. My personal area of competence is power lines, and I am competent with regards to design, performance improvement, operating maintenance, refurbishments. When I started my career back in so I moved to maintenance in 2006, yes. And then 2004 to 2005, I was in performance improvement. So really, for some odd reason, I found myself stuck with power lines, and I'm still stuck with power lines. I don't necessarily have a problem with that, but I probably feel like I should, by now, if I was like one of those really aggressive people, I could probably have my own company. It doesn't matter. Anyways, what you should be knowing about me is this. So, and then more specifically, I wanted to really share why you should be trusting me to take you through this presentation, because really, this is getting PR range is an issue of make or break, right? So you really need to know that the person who is giving you guidance is really qualified to do so, because your next increase is really behind the PR range. So with regards to my contribution at Exa, obviously I got registered in 2008, and then in 2009, I became a registered reviewer, mentor, and interviewer. And in 2010, I became a member of the Professional Advisory Committee. And this was specifically for electrical engineering, because remember, I'm electrical. Then in 2012, I made council. I became a council member for the first term. And then while I was serving in that term, I actually got nominated to be vice chairperson of the PAC, the one that I spoke about here. So I was vice chairperson for that, which is electrical really. And then after 4 years, the new term was selected, and I made the second term of council. And actually I became a member of EXCO, because I was a chairperson of a high impact committee. Oh, so January 2017, I was nominated to be chairperson of the Policy Development and Standard Generating Committee. I don't know why this is highlighted. When I prepared this, I didn't highlight it. This is probably witchcraft, it's fine. But with that being said, I think that was one of my proudest positions, because in this committee, it was just deans of universities, professors. It's literally a lot of people from the academia. So it's your professors, your doctors who are actually serving in this committee where we are creating policies and standards. And I was really a chairperson of that. It was quite an intimidating role, but you know, I'm somebody who loves a challenge, and I really ran this position quite well. And then in 2018, I became chairperson of the stakeholder relations. This is really saying to our professionals, please get registered and we give you any support that you need. Okay, I need to admit people. All right, that's a little bit about me, guys. So in my personal capacity, there was a time where I signed off all the electrical applications for PRNG, obviously. Because remember, this thing is about category and discipline. So I have seen in my life, okay, remember now I've been doing this since 2009. So I think in my life, I've seen over 1,000 applications as an individual. So I just want you to know that you can trust me. You can trust me to give you the right guidance. And really, guys, I want you to, a lot of people that I've mentored, get registered within less than 4 years. I actually do not accept anybody that I directly mentor to register after 4 years. It is a very simple task to do. I just need you to have somebody hold your hand. And what we do with these classes is exactly that. We just wanna hold your hand and show you the direction, because it is not that complex. Let me move away from this. So then, guys, I just want to talk about the slide. You know, I want to pause and please say this. Today's class is about how to select a mentor and a referee, because I get a lot of requests where people say, Lebo, please, can you be my referee? Lebo, can you? And you know, it is, I just felt like, you know, every time I say no to someone, it's not adequate. So I really thought I will schedule this class where I'll tell you guys their priorities. So when you are selecting a referee, how do you choose a referee? It's very important for you guys to know. And I've actually gone as far as just telling you per category. So if you are PRNG, if you are technologist, if you are engineer, how do you do this? Before we get there, guys, let's just pause for a moment. I want us to talk about this. So a lot of people, another thing that is really like happening is that I'm getting a lot of requests where people are saying, oh God, these things are driving me crazy. So I get a lot of people who say to me, so Lebo, I was doing my BSc and I couldn't finish 2 subjects. I'm making an example. Another person will say, I've been doing design work for the last 20 years. Can I register as whatever? Unfortunately, what we all need to know is that stage 1 of being registered with EXA is the educational requirements. So you need to have graduated with an accredited qualification, whatever it is. Let's pause there. We'll talk about the different qualifications just now. But what I want you to know is you need to have stage 1 of it is just meeting an engineering qualification of some sort. You need to have graduated, guys. 1 subject missing in your coursework is not adequate. At this point, when you've graduated, you can register as a candidate. So a lot of people really don't understand the difference between candidate and professional. What happens at candidate? All you need is your qualification. That's it. And then what happens is that for you to get to becoming professional, you need to have training and experience, right? And that is stage 2. So what I was saying to you guys earlier is exactly this. For you to meet this criteria to become professional, it is very straightforward, guys, believe me. Oh, this admitting is gonna drive me up the wall. So what you need to do is the criteria that you need to meet is clearly defined, and it's defined in the standards for professional competencies. Because when you become professional, you need to show, you need to display evidence against the competencies. And what these competencies are, they are generally known as the 11 outcomes. Now, what EXA says is you need a minimum of 3 years to actually meet the 11 outcomes. Let me tell you now, it's very, very rare for anybody to meet 11 outcomes in 3 years, simply for the reason that a lot of companies do not do like the full chain, right? Some companies are probably like design house, some companies are construction, some companies are operating and maintenance. So it is very difficult to meet the 11 outcomes being in one company. However, what you can do, so for example, as somebody who works at Eskom, I work in a design department. Then for me to get exposure to operating maintenance, I get seconded to a department that does exactly that. So what I'm trying to say to you guys is that if you are conscious or if you are aware of the 11 outcomes, you can totally chase them. You will know that at this point, I'm missing this, and then you will go there because your boss wants you registered anyways. So never feel like your manager is not going to support that. So once you've got this experience, guys, I need to just say to you guys, you do not go and apply until you have met all the 11 outcomes at the required level of responsibility. Let's leave it there because I've got a slide that covers that. So now we are here at this point. You have written your report, you have applied, now you get registered. What is very important for you guys to know is that some donkey years ago, even before I got registered, when you had PRNG, it was a lifelong title, right? It was yours, it belonged to you for life. But according to the International Engineering Alliance, right, you need to renew your registration every 5 years, right, guys? Every 5 years. So in the time that you are registered, what you need to be doing is that you need to observe the code of conduct, which basically means you need to comply by the code of conduct. And then you need to maintain your CPD points, right? I think all of us have heard of CPD. And then you need to obviously pay your annual fees. So guys, what happens here is that you renew your registration after 5 years. So basically in 5 years' time, what you need is 25 points over 5 years. Ne? Let's move away from that slide. So now what I wanted to also cover, it's amazing how you get deterred, because today I just really wanted to talk about the mentor and the referee, but because I get these questions daily and I'm really not a fan of repeating myself, I just thought I will add this. So there are a lot of people who also ask me that they haven't studied in South Africa, ne? And then they ask me, so how do we get registered? So what I wanted you guys to know is that we have a body that is called the International Engineering Alliance. And any country that is a member of the alliance, what this means is you do a degree in South Africa, you do a degree in Canada, in the US, in the UK. That degree is equivalent because these people are subscribing to what they call substantially equivalence. They cover the same requirements in terms of fundamentals and principles. It might not necessarily be the same. Even VETS doesn't give the same category, the same syllabus as UCT. But what they definitely do is PAM, I don't know what is the right word to use. So in terms of sciences, in terms of mathematics, in terms of they cover the same credits. So what is crucial with a substantial equivalence is to pay attention to the credits, right? So for those guys who have studied outside of South Africa, what you need to know is that the Engineering Alliance actually has what they call accords, right? They have what they call accords. And then what happens with the accords is that there is one accord per category. So whenever you hear somebody talking about the Washington Accord, it is for engineers, right? It is people who have done a degree. Whenever you hear somebody talking about the Sydney Accord, you must know it's talking about technologists. If they talk about the Dublin Accord, you must know that they're talking about technicians. So normally what happens, if you've studied outside of South Africa, what you need to go do, also I sent you guys a link. On the YouTube channel, there is a whole series where one of the gurus in registration, Mr. Jones Muloisani, in our past webinar, I can't remember when was our webinar, it was end of August, I think it was 28 August, we spoke about benefits of registering with EXA, and we had an exclusive section where we spoke about International Engineering Alliance, because a lot of people needed to understand that actually being registered with EXA affords you to move to any country that is a member of the International Engineering Alliance, right? So when you move there, you don't have to start your registration from scratch. If you are PR Engine EXA, this title sort of moves with you, and more often than not, what you need to do is just the administrative part of registering in that country. Then another thing that is crucial for us to just know and note is that if, you know, there are some people who studied in some country, it is not part of the Washington Accord, it is not in South Africa. So what these people do is they undergo what they call an educational evaluation, right? So sometimes it could be a degree just outside of the Accords, or it could be a combination of degrees, of qualifications where you feel that they are equivalent to a BSc. And then in this case, what happens is that EXA is going to evaluate and check for substantial equivalence. So when we talk about equivalence, there are documents, there are standards in place that really dictate what it is that you need to do. Very straightforward, guys. So just pay attention to this, right? So if you go watch that video, guys, you can just go now and check for Inspire the Next Movement, the YouTube. There is a video that comprehensively explains the International Engineering Alliance. And if you have studied outside South Africa, I beg you to go and have a look at that video, because probably you are not registering thinking, oh, my degree is from here and there. And meanwhile, what actually happens is it's part of the Washington Accord. I want to just make an example because this is very important to say. As an example, I studied in Malaysia, right? Malaysia became a member of the Washington Accord, I think in 2016. It was an effort driven by myself. So when I studied there back in 2004, they were not a member of the Washington Accord. So when you are checking these accords, it is very important for you to pay attention to the date. You need to see, when did that country become a member of the Accord? So it is not just, I go check the Accords, I see my country. It is, when did they become a member, a full member of the Accords? Guys, please do that. It's very crucial for you to pay attention to the date. And then I think another thing I wanted to say, so yeah, so it's the Accords, right? So then I wanted to just say, if you find that you've studied in this place, like for example, I studied in the University of Technology Petronas back in 2004, that university became a member in 2016. So I had to undergo this bullet here, an independent education evaluation. Yeah, it is quite a laborious one, but it is doable nevertheless. So in terms of requirements, guys, this is just something that I thought I'll touch on. I don't want to really labor it. So to become candidate, all you need to do is just fulfill your educational requirement. There's nothing fancy about becoming candidate. But the reason, because a lot of people get confused, you know, when they see the posts that are advertised, they normally see, you know, the post saying you must be candidate. What being candidate says to the employer, you have a degree that is accredited in terms of South African standards. Oh my God. The dog is here. Oh, guys, see my baby. Well, actually not my baby, but my son. He's here licking my feet. Hey, Langa, please take Milo away. So what the reason why the employer wants you to be candidate is literally just for them to know that your degree is accredited. Then when you want to register as a professional, guys, let's just pay attention to this. You know, doctors, medicine is one of those professions that you really respect. Because even if you have a degree, you will never practice unless you are registered. So to be registered, whose mic is on? Somebody's mic is on. It's Ipiling. So basically, guys, to become professional, what you need to do is, obviously the first point is to register, as to have the qualification, isn't it? And then secondly is to demonstrate competence. And what I wanted to say is that these requirements are clearly defined in the standard. So guys, go and read your discipline-specific guidelines because it clearly tells you what it is that you need to do. It is clearly defined. And then competence is developed by what, guys? Let's understand that firstly, it starts by education, then it comes with training and experience. So to become competent, you have to undergo these things until a point where you are responsible. You become a responsible person. Then obviously, and this is something also that a lot of people are not conscious about. When you are registering, guys, what you need to be doing is that you need to have a clearly defined area of competence. Area of competence refers to an area where you have knowledge and skills. So it is an area where you can be trusted to develop solutions without endangering the people and the environment. So what you need to understand is by the time you get registered, you need to have a clearly defined area of competence. So if you are a civil engineer, you are saying, I'm civil water, you are saying, I'm civil roads. If you are electrical, you are saying, my area of competence is power lines, my area of competence is telecoms, I don't know. But you need to have a clearly defined area of competence because what is important for us to understand is that at university, they give us fundamentals. They do not give us, you know, area specific things. And that is why you find that when you have a master's does not compensate for a BSc because a master's is really area specific. So when you do a master's, you zoom into a particular topic. So that's area of competence. Now, so when you write your engineering report, you need to be very clear about your area of competence. Then also, I just wanted to mention this. There are really 2 stages when you are registering. And we can assume that everybody knows this because we've had a total of like 12 classes during lockdown. So a lot of the people here really know about this. But what the registration process is, it's got 2 stages. Guys, please, please, please pay attention to this. Getting registered is comprised of 2 competencies. It's the writing competence and the verbal. You need to be able to write well, you need to be able to speak well. So normally what happens there is the first stage of registration is the experience appraisal. What happens at the experience appraisal is the application that you have submitted gets read. Now, as you can imagine, if you have not written the document properly, the person who is called an assessor is not going to be able to extract the evidence that they need against the 11 outcomes. So guys, it is very important for you to understand that once you pass the EA stage, what it tells you is that your documentation is adequate. That's what it tells you. Then the second stage is the professional review. I want to come close to the screen and say this. Guys, when you are called for a professional review, what it tells you is that your submission is adequate, right? So when you are preparing the presentation for the professional review, the presentation is actually 15 minutes long. So when you are preparing that presentation, guys, it's actually equivalent to an engineering report because your engineering report is evidence of your competence. So the TR is evidence of how you built your competence. I'm going to say it again. The training and experience report is evidence of how you built your competence. The engineering report is evidence of your competence. So if you do pass the EA stage, what it tells you is that your documentation is adequate. So when you prepare that 15 minutes presentation, you have to use the engineering report. I see a lot of people saying, I want to prepare this, but I don't know where to start. No, all you need to know is if you have passed the experience appraisal stage, then when you go to PR, all you do is you take your engineering report and you turn it into a presentation. It is already adequate. What they are doing there is they are just verifying that the work is yours because there are people who get people to write their reports for them. There are people who copy people's reports. They say, we work in the same department, you're already registered. If I take your report, naturally I'll be registered. So what happens really at the professional review is they are just checking that the work belongs to you. There is no reason why you should be failing a professional review, guys. It happens. I really don't know why it happens, but this is really something that is unnecessary in my humble opinion. So what I want you to know is that your engineering report is equivalent to your professional review, but the only difference is that instead of writing it down, you are going to verbally tell the panel about your competence. So today, finally, we get to today's class. This is so interesting. After all this time, finally, we get to today's content. So today, guys, really the class today was about how to choose a mentor and a referee. Ne? And then before I even go to that list of, in terms of preference, I thought it is very crucial for me to just touch on who is a supervisor and who is a mentor, because a lot of people don't really know the line, like the line between the role players. The two key people that are active in your workplace is the supervisor and the mentor. And you will see why when we get to the end of the presentation. So let us all understand that a supervisor, it is somebody who is registered in a specific category. Ne? Guys, let's pay attention to jargon. Category, discipline. We should all be knowing by now when we say category and when we say discipline, what are we talking about? But what is important for us to note is that a supervisor, it is somebody who directs, oversees, controls, and supervises and takes responsibility for the work that is performed by the candidate. So you are arriving at this company, people shall teach you how to design a power line, how to design a foundation. So a supervisor is somebody who teaches you some particular activity. Guys, it's very important to understand that. Now let's talk about a mentor. Who is a mentor? A mentor, it is somebody who is obviously registered in a specified category. So meaning to say, Lebo holds a BSc. So preferably my mentor should be somebody in the PRN category. Why? Because when they develop my training program, they should know what is required by EXA, right? So it is somebody who develops the competency of the candidate in some discipline. Now, what is important for me to say here is that obviously if you are in a workplace, right? Let's say you are mechanical, and then in your workplace, you only have registered electrical and civil, you can use those people. Obviously, the advantage that comes with using somebody in your specific discipline is obvious, because then in terms of complexity, in terms of actually what you need to do, they will be better informed, right? Unlike a mechanical telling an electrical person what to do. But what is crucial for you to know is that you can actually use somebody in a different discipline to become your mentor. You can actually do that. So what a mentor does is they plan the training program task by task. I say this to people and probably a lot of people are like, no, okay, I forgot to admit people. A lot of people are probably like, oh God, my network is slow, ne? Yeah, my network is slow. So what you guys, what I wanted to say, ne? And I know this is like not 100% possible, but what I want you guys to do is that you need to understand that there is 11 outcomes. So everything you do at work, you only have 2 years to be trained. So everything you do in the workplace has to target some outcome. So when your mentor develops that program, what they will be doing is they are going to develop specific tasks that you need to do. And what these tasks do is they are going to give you evidence against the 11 outcomes. Very crucial to note, your mentor is somebody who reads your full submission. This is the person who's designed the task. Remember, the task is done by who? The supervisor. Yes, the supervisor is going to sign your TR, but the mentor holistically, the reason why you prefer them to be in the right category and the right discipline is because they are going to check that your report addresses all the 11 outcomes. Now, what you guys must know is that your mentor definitely needs to be your referee. And it's obvious why, because they are the best person to actually give evidence of you being competent. What I need to say, because a lot of people panic about this, they say, no, Lebo, my supervisor is the same as my mentor, is the same as my referee. That is correct. A referee is anybody who is witness. It's somebody who is directly involved in the work. So definitely your supervisor should become your referee. And then it can also happen that your supervisor is your mentor, because if the person, for example, let's say you work with civil aspects, it is possible to address all the 11 outcomes just in one area. It is actually possible. So you can have a supervisor who is your mentor and then obviously becomes your referee. What is crucial about the mentor is that your mentor must be your referee. But of course, let's take an example with power lines. If I am your mentor and I am electrical, when it comes to power lines, I can teach you electrical aspects of a power line. So I can be a supervisor for electrical matters. Then when it comes to civil mechanical, you're going to have another supervisor for that. Guys, it's very important that we understand that. Okay, I don't know why I've got lines in there. All right, so this slide here, this slide, I one day wish to kill it in my presentations, but I don't think that day is going to come. So what I want to say about this slide is, guys, the 11 outcomes are basically divided into, this is what the 11 outcomes are. So for you to get registered as a professional, you need to give evidence to EXA on these 11 outcomes. And they're divided into 5 groups, guys. I don't want to labor these things because we've had other classes that really talk about the 11 outcomes. We've had a lot of, I think about 4 or 5 classes. So I don't want to labor it, but for the people who are new in this class, what you need to understand is that EXA groups the outcomes in terms of similar activities, right? Group A is engineering problem solving. And what this does is, as outcome 1, you need to define, investigate, and analyze an engineering problem. Outcome 2, you need to design or develop a solution to an engineering problem. And then outcome 3, we all know if it's an engineering problem, it's going to need some fundamentals that are from university, right? That's what outcome 3 really is. So that a lot of people fail because of outcome 1. What people do, they do not write about what they have done to investigate and analyze in order to define a problem. They talk about the project, what the project is about. No, this application is about what have you done. Group B is managing engineering activities, with outcome 4 being managing a part or all of one or more engineering activities. I need to pause here and just say a lot of people are having an understanding that you are supposed to manage an engineering project. That is not correct, guys. All you need to do is manage an engineering activity. This activity could be even managing timesheets. It could be consolidating a multidisciplinary report. It could be an activity on site. It is an engineering activity. It does not have to be an engineering project. Once you are dealing with projects, then you register with the other body, which is project management and whatever. So there are different bodies for different activities. If you want to register with EXA, you need to be solving engineering problems. Outcome 5 is communicate clearly with others in the course of managing engineering activities. This is one outcome that a lot of people underplay, but I have seen people actually fail for this, because if you are going to come up with a solution and then you cannot do public speaking, you cannot explain yourself, obviously you're going to fail. Because when you present the solution, you are going to be asked, why do you prefer this one? Why is it B? Why is it not C? Why is it D? Why is it not? You need to be able to explain yourself. You need to be able to tell the audience, this is the preferred option because of 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's leave it there. Group C is impact of engineering activities. What EXA expects you to know is to recognize and address reasonably foreseeable social, cultural, and environmental impacts. The reason why it's foreseeable, it's exactly that. Those that can be predicted. We know there are other environmental impacts that cannot be predicted, guys. There's global warming, there's tsunami. I'm going to leave it there. So as long as when you are doing your work, you do mitigate the reasonably foreseeable ones, you have done your part. Remember, in 3 years, nobody has ever been a specialist in anything in 3 years. So what you need to understand is EXA wants you to be conscious of this full cycle of an engineering project or engineering problem, how it is solved, what impacts it has, how it is managed. So it is not about you becoming a specialist in something. Outcome 7 is meet all legal and regulatory requirements and protect the health and safety of persons in the course of doing engineering activities. this one, I don't even want to talk about it. I've spoken about it at length. Guys, there is a key difference, and I forgot to then check my admit. There's a core difference between outcome 7 and outcome 3. Go to the YouTube channel and go watch the video. When I do these things, right now I'm here for free. I like to empower people, but I don't like to repeat myself. I really don't. So please go and watch those videos. You will see we have at length spoken about the difference between outcome 3 and 7, because there is a very clear difference between outcome 3 and 7. And if you don't understand fundamentally what the difference is, obviously when you are writing, you are not going to do the right thing. The reason I do these classes is because I want to really help you on what it is that you should be writing and how you should be writing it, because it's made up of 2 aspects. Let's move on to outcome D, group D. Group D says, act ethically and exercise sound engineering, exercise judgment and take responsibility. Outcome 8 is conduct engineering activities ethically. What you must be observing about this outcome is you need to give an example of a case where you had some ethical conflict and how you resolved it. So what a lot of people do is they say, oh, I'm ethical. No, you must actually give an example to show some, because we know the conflicts, right? A contractor wants to bribe you. Your uncle is in the business. So you need to really show the reader that when you say conduct, hopefully you have an example. If you don't have an example, it is 100% okay to even say, I do not even make room for ethical matters because I abide by the code of conduct. Sound engineering judgment, which is outcome 9. Yo, guys, let me tell you, this is outcome 1 and outcome 9 is the reason why people are failing. Finish and clear. Outcome 1 and 9. Outcome 2 is a giveaway. Outcome 1 and 9. Outcome 3 is a giveaway, guys. 2 and 3 are a giveaway. I don't even like to talk about those because those ones are straightforward. Outcome 1 and 9 are the reason why people are failing. When you are developing, investigating, and analyzing, what you should be doing there is applying sound engineering judgment. And the only time you can apply judgment, guys, let's agree, it's when you have to compare things. So the best way to tell you this is that when you are solving some problem, there isn't one solution. Definitely not. Because do nothing is an option, isn't it? Do nothing is an option. So definitely if you look at the fact that option 1 is do nothing, you tell the reader do nothing doesn't work because of the following risks. Option 2 is whatever the client contacted you about. Then normally there's the full scope of how to solve it, but the cost is going to constrain you. If you don't show this judgment in your report, you are going to have problems, guys. Let me tell you now. On the YouTube channel, we have done 2 case studies during lockdown. Please do yourself a favor and go watch that video. It will save you a lot of problems. Obviously, that is, we did it at the level of PRNG because that is the most complex level in terms of registration. And this is better for you. Even if you're a technologist technician, it is actually better for you to prepare at the level of engineer because you would have just exceeded the requirements of technologist and technician. The reason why this favors you guys is because when you are in the workplace and the boss wants a solution, they actually don't care. Do you have a degree? Do you have a BTech? Do you have they wanted an answer. They want a well-written report. So it's very important for you guys to try and always aim for the higher standard, because also when people want to get their PR, they don't understand that PR is supposed to also prepare you for how to write reports. It's not just about registration. When you are registered, somebody assumes that you are able to communicate information adequately to the next person. It's not just submit, get PR. No, when you are PR, people trust you to run with things. People trust you to communicate your findings. People trust you to analyze. People trust you. And of all this trust, the biggest one at the top of the list is the safety of the people and the environment. So pay attention to outcome 9. In fact, it is not possible to write about outcome 1 and not touch outcome 9. Obviously, when you are technologist and technician, the form is clearly defined. So they are separate because they are clearly defined. But when you are peer range, you totally cannot write about outcome 1 without touching outcome 9. Guys, take this from me. Then outcome 10 is be responsible for making decisions. If you do know, okay, I need to pause because I want to find the right way to say this. When you are submitting your application, guys, let me just say this. You can 100% say to the reader, I am responsible at level E, but you need to always be conscious that the referee can override whatever you've put in the report. So in other words, if you are saying you are responsible at level E and your referee feels that you are at level D, it's a problem because automatically you would have failed. Because EXA is gonna be like, yo, this candidate said level E, but the referee who is your witness, the person who's witnessed you at work says level D. Obviously, it's going to be a problem. So when you write these things, guys, I assure you to really, really pay attention to what you write. If you are saying you are at level E, let it be level E. Another mistake that a lot of people are making, and fortunately, this is not widespread, they sometimes put evidence that does not meet the required level. Let me tell you now, if this outcome says it must be at level E, the minute you write evidence in the engineering report that is below this level, you've already discounted yourself. Please pay attention to the required level of responsibility. As an example, recognizing, let's talk about outcome 6. The reason it is B is because these things, environmental impacts, are done by environmentalists. EXA does not expect you as an engineer to go and do an EIA. What they do expect from you is to know the impacts of that project. And when you develop a solution, you need to mitigate those impacts. That's why it's level D, because now the actual activity of identifying those impacts is somebody else's job. But when you are doing the solution, you need to make sure you take care of those things because you know with engineering, it is one of those where you cannot fix things post-construction, right? We all know that. So then let's just go. Outcome 11, the biggest mistake that people make is to say, because there's an attachment in the application form that talks about outcome 11, they don't write it in the engineering report. Guys, you need to write it there because this is evidence of how you build your competence. And things that you should be covering there is training, conferences. There's a lot of people that do post-studies, postgraduate, babies and yeah, like you do your master's, you do a thing in project management. Yeah, so advancing yourself educationally totally counts at outcome 11. You need to put it in that engineering report. Ne? Now, I'm not going to, this is a slide that is going to be here for you guys to observe and see it. I'm not touching it today. Today's class is not about it. But what you need to be knowing is that those levels, let me just go back. Remember here, I showed you the outcomes and then I showed you the level of responsibility that is required per outcome. So what this slide is showing is what are the different levels? Crucial to understand. For the core outcomes, you need to be at level E. And what level E is you are performing. You are somebody who works without supervision. What this means, guys, is that you are as good as somebody who is registered, but obviously you are not accountable because you don't have peer range yet. But so what you need to be understanding is by the time you get registered, you are somebody who is performing. All the core outcomes, let's have a look at what they are. Outcome 1, outcome 3, outcome 7, outcome, the whole of group D. Those things need to be at level E. Why? Because engineering is indeed about solving engineering problems. So people expect and need to trust that whenever you propose a solution, it's going to be safe. Ne? So have a look at that whenever you have an opportunity, but really performing. And remember, I said these things are documented in the standards and the guidelines. So if you are performing, you are somebody who's working without supervision. And level A is literally you being exposed. You get to the company, they teach you about the business, what they do, they teach you about their culture. Slowly but surely, if you are somebody who's ambitious, you come to level D, you are assisting, you're working under close supervision, then you are limited supervision, then you get detail approval, and then eventually people let you run with projects. And also what is very good for me to say while we are in this slide is that when you are writing your TERs, what is supposed to be clearly visible in your TERs is an increase in the level of responsibility. So if you are writing your TERs and throughout in that organogram, there is no evidence of you growing in terms of level of responsibility, obviously you're going to have a problem. So one of the core things that you should be doing when you are writing your training and experience reports is to ensure that the level of responsibility is increasing. By the time you write your last TR, you need to be somebody who is performing, right? Isn't it? All right, so let's go into the different pieces that make up the application. This is very important, guys, and a lot of people don't necessarily, okay, so I'm hoping everybody on this platform has at least looked at an application form. So normally what happens in the application form, there's something that is called a training and experience report. It is the summary. So this is just where you tell somebody from this date to this date, I was in this department, I did this. It is a summary. Then there's something that is called a TR. TR is the training and experience report. This is where you capture evidence of how you build your competence, guys. How did you build your competence? You definitely need to have more than one of those. It is not possible to have one. Then we've got what they call a training and an experience outline. What happens here is people who have been working for more than 10 years are actually given the permission to summarize the first 7 years using a TOR. TOR is going to be obviously similar to a summary report. Just go look at the template, what it needs. But all you need to do is for the last 3 years, then you can write a TR. So obviously, if you've been working 10 years, what's naturally going to happen is that your TRs are going to be you being fully responsible. That's kind of obvious. Then the engineering report is that one that captures evidence against the 11 outcomes. Guys, there you have to cover all the 11 outcomes. And what it does is it incorporates a self-assessment. So you have to tell the reader, is this an engineering problem or is this an engineering activity? Then you tell the reader also the level of responsibility that you are doing the task at. I've already shown you the level of responsibility, so that is not even a puzzle. Then there's a standalone thing there in the form that is called an IDP. And what you do there, I mean, a lot of people are familiar with this term CPD. What CPD is continuous professional development. It's applicable to people who are already registered. For those who are not yet registered, it's called IDP. It's your initial professional development. And what this comprises of, it's courses in engineering, management, software. It's even in-house. A lot of people think it has to be CPD accredited. That is not the case, guys. If in your company there is somebody who's a specialist in something, they can give you training. It is anything that is going to build your competence, but it is something that you consciously go and attend with the aim of strengthening your competence. What I want you to pay attention to, this one is one of those things that give a lot of people stomach ache when they get registered. The referee report, because really what happens with the referee report, which is really a sad case, you will never, ever lay your eyes on the referee report. The referee report is confidential. So what you need to be doing when you are choosing your referees, I don't know how to emphasize this. If you do know that somebody doesn't like you, somebody's not a fan of you, please stay away from that person. Because the referee is the first line of approval. It's the first person who says to EXA, this person can be trusted to deliver solutions, to deliver this, to deliver. If your referee says no, a lot of people get surprised. Oh, I'm good. Wow, what is the problem? Sometimes it simply boils down to your referee said no, you are not ready. So as you can see here, what I'm showing you guys on the side is who signs what. Now let's look at the engineering report as a start. The engineering report really doesn't get signed off, Okay, I don't know about the technician and technologist form, But for the PRN, it doesn't get signed off because it's evidence of your competence. It's you saying, this is my evidence. What is important for us to pay attention to is that the supervisor, the mentor, and the referee, they have to review that. The best thing you can do for yourself is have filters. If you feel it's evident, it's competent, it's adequate, sorry, get your referee, get your mentor to read that report and then tell you, is it okay or not? And obviously this boils down to why you would want to have a mentor who's registered. Because if the person is not registered, they wouldn't really know what to look for. Then you will see here, right? You see it's signed by candidate, supervisor, mentor, and referee. So what this is showing you is the different components in the report, who signs them off. And obviously you can see the candidate signs off everything, because when you are writing this thing, you are saying, you know, I'm giving, okay, there's no lies in this report. Everything I'm submitting is the truth and nothing but the truth. So also when it comes to the TOR, which is the training experience report, remember the person who is teaching you some activity is the one who's going to sign that report. Let me make an example with where I work. If I am learning on foundations, there's going to be a foundation person teaching me that. There's going to be structural. So whenever you are changing department, whenever you are changing an activity, there's going to be a different supervisor signing off. So I'm going to leave this slide. What I wanted you guys to see here is that obviously your mentor must be your referee. Then I'm saying a referee can be your supervisor or your mentor. That's all that is saying there. Then let's get into the crux of today. So here now we are addressing the preference in terms of selecting a referee. A lot of people say, Lebo, please, can you be my referee? Maybe because I have now reviewed your engineering report with the aim of making it good in terms of what you need to capture in that report. I can't be your referee because I was not somebody who was involved when you were doing the work. So for PRN, what you guys need to know, you need a minimum of 2 referees. Ne? And this minimum has to be people who are registered. Guys, remember what I said, those people do not need to be in your discipline, but they need to be registered. You can use a PRN, you can use a PR Tech. You must have at least 1 PRN, guys. You can't run away from that. But because, you know, EXA does understand that this sometimes in some companies there are no PRNs, you can also use a PR technologist and a certified engineer. You can. Then in terms of, guys, let me pause here and say, this is a minimum requirement, right? You don't need to comply to the minimum. I always say to people, why would you put your fate in somebody else's hand? You need to have as many referees as you can, because there are people who say you are adequate, you are competent, you are ready for a promotion. So if you can have anybody who is involved in your development, please use those people as a referee. Because all EXA says is that a minimum of 2 of them have to be registered. That's what it says. Now, in order of preference, who are the people that you can actually use as a referee, guys? Your immediate supervisor, for obvious reasons, your mentor, your indirect supervisor, your employer, a co-worker at a higher level of involvement with the applicant, totally, because they still have a link, you know, even if they serve in that technical committee that actually approves the design work, they are definitely aware. Like if you come and present, they see you. So even with me, I don't necessarily go deal with you directly, but if you come to a design review, I am aware that you are doing this work, isn't it? Now it's a co-worker at a higher level, not directly involved with the applicant's work. And then you can go to the client. A lot of people are not aware of this. If you have provided a solution, so you are somebody who's working in the consulting environment, the solution you are providing is going to some client. You can use the client as a referee because they are somebody who can attest to the quality of work that you do. That is for professional engineer, guys. Then if we talk about a technologist needs a minimum of 3, right? Non-negotiable, it has to be 3. And obviously a technologist will need fellow technologists. They can also use PRN, because remember, PRN is more complex than technologist, and they can also use a certified engineer. So in terms of registered people, you need to have 3 of those. Ne? And then in terms of the order of preference, people that you can select as a referee. I must say, when I submitted my report, I think I had a referee report for everyone who was my supervisor. That's how crazy I am. I don't leave my fate in anybody's hand. Then for the technologist, you can use your mentor, your immediate supervisor, indirect supervisor, your employer, and then a co-worker at a higher level or the same level who is involved with the applicant's work, or you can use a co-worker at a higher level that is, or a same level that is not involved with the applicant's work. And obviously we can use a client. What is important to pay attention to here is one, only one. You can't go and get co-workers, 100 of them. Because the reason why co-worker is allowed, for example, if I design a power line, our input comes from planning. So obviously there is some cooperation between lines and planning. Those people will also know if you are good or you are not good. So you can use those people. Let's look at the technician. Technician also needs a minimum of 3 referees. And obviously, if you're a technician, you can use a fellow technician, you can use a technologist, you can use a certified engineer, you can use a professional engineer. So if you're a technologist, you can actually use anybody who's registered in any category, right? Guys, I think today's class, I didn't even touch on the differences between the 3 categories, but engineers solve complex problems. Technologists and certified engineer solve broadly defined problems. Technicians solve clearly defined problems. So for technicians, you can use a mentor, you can use an immediate supervisor, you can use an indirect supervisor, you can use your employer, you can use a co-worker at a higher level or the same level without, involved with the applicant's work, and also not directly involved with the applicant's work. But remember to limit these to 1 each. These are like really when you are clutching at straws and you don't have people who are directly involved. Ne? And then obviously, personally, I love the aspect of actually getting a client, because customer satisfaction is one of those key things that really determines somebody's drive, somebody's desire to really achieve a lot in life. Let's see, what is there? Oh, so the next slide is about inspiring the next. What I want to say about that is that everything that you have learned in today's class, please go and share it with your co-workers, with your aunties, daughters doing engineering. Inspire the next. Inspire the next is encouraging people to really take whatever they learn and go share it with the next person to empower them. Why must they suffer when you actually have the answers, I'm also here, I got registered over a decade ago, but I do, this information is in my head. I take the time to empower you guys, so please do the same and empower others. I think, at EXA, let me leave it by saying, my passion for really making things a little bit easier for other people is really strong. So this is Inspire the Next movement that brought you this class. And then all I can say for now is please go to YouTube and type in Inspire the Next movement. All the classes that you have missed during lockdown are on that channel. Please empower yourself, because anything we are given free is not going to be free forever. So if you don't go and empower yourself now, you're going to cry tomorrow when it's not available. So I'm going to stop sharing now. And then I need to, sorry guys, I'm trying to find my feet here. Guys, I'm going to open the floor for questions if anybody does have any questions. Don't pay attention to me because I am trying to just sort out my screen this side. Guys, the floor is open for any questions if you have questions. You can't tell me that the information was so clear that you actually don't have questions. I mean, that is like really great news for me. If there are no questions, then this like really makes my night. But guys, if you do have a question, please, 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 please feel free to ask the question now, because I'm not always available. And then before you just take that question, my friend, before you just take that question, allow me to just say this. Guys, so this matter of free coaching, I just need to stop and explain this. So on those groups, what I do is I offer you an opportunity to preempt your chest, or rather ask anything that bothers you, in terms of a registration. But what is very important for you guys to understand is that please do not send me questions directly to my WhatsApp. If you have a question, please post it on the group. And the simple reason for this is because what you want to know, somebody else also wants to know. So I don't like to repeat myself. Happy, let me take your question.
Oh, hi, Lebu.
Yes, go for it.
Lebu.
You're supposed to switch on your camera at this point when you are asking a question. How? Why, Happy?
There's my photo. There's my photo.
Okay, go for it, Happy. One day that will be the one prize that people pay for coming into the class. Switching on your camera. Yeah,
I don't have my face beat on. So
okay,
yeah.
No problem. Go for it.
Lebu, may I ask? Yeah. So let's say you were professionally registered previously but never maintained it with EXA, and now you want to actually register to the next level.
What is next level? Next level is what is next level? Are you talking from technician to technologist?
From professional technologist to technologist. So will that count that you never maintained the registration throughout probably the previous years?
No, it won't count. You know why? Because simply if you say, for example, allow your registration to lapse, by fire by force, you're gonna have to start that application from scratch. So it doesn't matter whether it's more painful to you actually. Then I think let me take the second part of your question. When you are, because a lot of people don't understand this. So if you start off, say, with a diploma, and then later you do a BTech, right? What is important for all of us to observe is that post-qualification, you need a minimum of 3 years.
Yeah.
So if you, in your case, let's say, so because there's a lot of people like this, they did their diploma, they worked as a technician, then they did their BTech, they worked as a technologist. What's going to happen with those people if they've been working more than 10 years? They are going to summarize whatever they were doing as a technician. Do you see that? So it makes their work easier because the training outline doesn't have to be signed. So it actually reduces your work, So only the last 3 years will have to be written as a training and experience report. So unfortunately, Happy, I think it's just more pain for you. But if you are talking about upgrading, it doesn't matter because anyways, if you are moving from one category to another, you are going to write an application anyways.
Okay, that's clear.
So in your case, I mean, it's one of those where you are going to write, because remember, technician and technologist are totally different. So for people who actually wait to go straight to technologist, those people have the benefit of summarizing. Charity?
Okay. Thanks.
Charity?
Oh, hi, Lebu.
How are you?
Can you hear me? I'm fine, thanks.
Good.
I just wanted to ask with regards to your coaching classes, how does one get to be part of them?
Well, look, I mean, the biggest thing that you can really do for yourself until further notice is to follow the YouTube channel, because I do post sort of everything that I do on the YouTube channel, because I know a lot of people do not have, oh, Yanko is here. One of my girls is here. I just see her now. Welcome, Yanko. She never actually makes class with Yanko Shem, but today she's here. I love that, Yanko. I think this is your third class attending of the 12. Welcome, Yanko. Anyways, as I was saying, Charity, like for me, the core way to get in touch with my initiatives is just to follow the YouTube channel. Because when I have a class, I post it on YouTube channel, you know. And then obviously I do also give master classes, and they come in two shapes. The one master class is literally on the A to Z of registration, down to even the jargon, because when you write that report, the jargon is linked to your competence. And then the second master class is the interviews. I realized very late that people then start writing properly, but when they go to the interviews, then they slip up. So normally when I have a master class, I'm going to post it on my platforms. So you can follow me on Facebook. Facebook, it's Lebo Penny Gabriel. Let me type it in the, okay, if I can just find that chat thing. Let me actually type it on the chat thing to make it easy. So you can follow, if you follow me on Facebook, yeah, because I'm a hectic Facebooker. If you follow me on Facebook, you will find any event that I do on Facebook, and sometimes I actually share to the engineering groups if I have time. I just want to type it here for you quickly. So on Facebook, it is Lebo Gabriel Mapumulo. So you can actually go and follow me there. Guys, I forgot to share some important information. We're going to have a webinar on the 22nd of October, and literally that webinar is going to be mostly addressing what it is that happens at the professional review. Is that correct, Refila? It's beautiful because it's taking it a step further. So we're moving away from sort of the requirements, and we're going into the area of how do you package the requirements. So that webinar is going to be lit. Please make time to attend. Ne? I think on this thing, Charity, I'm going to share just my Facebook and my LinkedIn, because I think my LinkedIn is Dumisang Lebo Mapumulo. Guys, please go and have a look at my LinkedIn, because it is important for you to trust the person who's giving you guidance. Never ever trust anybody to just randomly give you guidance. You need to make sure that the person is adequately qualified to actually give you that guidance. So what I've shared here, I've shared my LinkedIn, and then I could obviously share my Instagram, but Instagram is not for professional things, you know. That's why I was lazy to actually share the Instagram. And then for Inspire the Next, guys, totally, if you just type Inspire the Next, you will see it will pop up there. Okay, so I see for Instagram, it says Lebo Gabriel. Okay, so Charity, are you happy? Because I've put here the handles that you can type on your phone and follow me. That's where I'm actually sharing any event that I do. And then I think probably tomorrow morning, I'm going to share that webinar that we're having on the 22nd of September. Yeah, and guys, I want you to please take advantage of the free events, because your Lebo might die tomorrow. There's COVID. Take advantage of these free events, because next time you're gonna have to pay lots of money to get this same information that I'm giving you guys. Okay, let me see another hand. Okay, I see in the comments we do have comments. Oh, Godfrey says looking good. My left, I don't know if this is the Godfrey I know or not. And then, yeah, somebody says, hi, everyone. And then we've got a question from Vuyo. Oh, Vuyo cannot hear. Vuyo, are you still not hearing us? Okay, you are sorted. Perfect. There we go. Guys, let me just say this before I take the next question. Please go and type on your phone, YouTube, go and type Inspire the Next Movement. I am begging you to go and look at those case studies. I even did a class where we literally addressed how do you use your masters or how do you use any research work that you have done to address the 11 outcomes. It's very important for you guys to know this. I'm seeing Happy's hand. I'm not sure if it's an old hand or it's a new hand.
Sorry, old hand.
Old hand, okay. So in that case, that means we don't even have another, yeah, I'm scrolling the screen just to see if we have another question. Refila, surely you must have a question, my friend. I'm scrolling the screen to see if Jesh is here. Yeah, it doesn't look like Jesh is here, no? Yeah, Jesh was supposed to give a young talk on mentors and referees, but I can't find Jesh. Yeah. Okay, go for it, Refile. You must have a question, my friend.
No, fortunately, I went through a lot of your videos, so I'm covered.
Awesome.
I think from my side is just to remind you to ask the members that are attending here to share their email addresses so that you can send them more information on some of the content that you'll be making.
Yeah. So guys, I wanted to say this. So for example, thank you for that refueling. This is very important. So for example, if you go to the YouTube channel and you look at a case study, so we currently have 2 case studies that are loaded on the YouTube channel. I'm going to do, so unfortunately, during lockdown, I actually did PRNG case studies. So I'm going to do well, should I say October? Okay, yeah, because in November I'm turning 40. It's gonna be rough. I might not have time for that. I want to do a case study for technicians. Ne? So what is very important about what Refula is saying is that when I do a class and I share the material that is associated to the class, I only share it with people who are on the group. I can't deal with single WhatsApp, somebody saying, send me. I can't. So guys, please drop your email address on the chat. Yeah, it's called the chat. Please drop your email address on the chat. And then that way I'm able to do a bulk. I only do it via email. If you miss the email, the only other time you get it is if I directly mentor you. Then that time I don't have a choice but to actually give you the information. Guys, do you not have any other questions? I just wanted to check. I think while people are dropping their emails, please can we just maybe entertain this young topic? On the platform as we stand right now, I just wanted to know how many of you have been working for more than 7 years? And then the second part that I want to know is really why haven't you been registered? And the reason I'm asking that is because I am not a fan of just doing classes random. When I do take my time and I do a face beat, I really need to address a problem that the people are having. Guys, just tell me, if you've been working more than 7 years, okay, even 5 years, why haven't you registered? What is the challenge? Please, guys, let's talk about that. Because it's going to at least help me to bring to you a solution to your problem. I don't want to bring you just, because there's a lot of stuff involved in registration. I just want to bring you a solution that is what you need. So why haven't you registered, guys? Please, let's talk. Can we have some hands of the people that have been working more than 5 years? Why haven't you registered, guys? Guys, please don't be shy. It's only me here. Or should I randomly pick on people? I can't even randomly pick because I don't know who. Okay, I see Tandega. Tandega, go for it. Tandega?
How to raise the hand?
Okay.
Tandega, your network. No. Is it just me, guys? Can you guys hear Tandega?
No.
Yeah, I think there's something wrong with Tandega's network. Tandega, please try and move around. Amanda?
Hello.
Okay, that's a little bit better. We can't hear you on the side, so you can try it again.
Okay, sorry about that. No, it's fine. I'll just type my.
Okay, yeah, probably because I think there's something wrong with the network where you are. Amanda? Amanda, we'll take your question. Amanda? Amanda Mjali? Guys, please don't make me pick on you. Don't make me do that because I can totally do it. But I wanted us to just talk about the challenges that you are facing, because then if somebody like me knows the challenges, I can bring you a class that directly speaks to the challenges that you are having. So go for it, Yanko.
Hi, Lebo. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, hi. Thank you very much for the platform, and I think for sharing and continuously inspiring us to actually get ourselves registered. I think for me personally, the reason why I took such a long time, firstly, was when I got into the field that I got into, I kind of landed into it. So the institution where I graduated from, transportation was not a big thing. You are already, sorry. It was not a big thing. So I think initially I struggled to understand how I was combining the traffic engineering planning stuff that I was doing to the roads sites work that I did. Like I was looking at transportation in silos, not in the fact that everything is connected. So that was the first challenge that I did not grasp initially from the onset, how everything I was doing was actually connected. And then I think the second challenge that I had, it was just a personal thing that I think not fully understanding how the different aspects also fit in. I felt I still needed to do a lot of project management work. I did not understand that even if I project manage a small component of a project, as long as I could show that I understand how to manage a budget or even resources and time, it's sufficient. It's always a continuous learning thing. And I think third and last, it's mainly just a confidence thing, believing that I know enough. It's like sometimes if you encounter a challenge in the workspace, it sort of makes you doubt your abilities and your capabilities. So then you suddenly feel like, because I was doing this thing, and then Lebu as my superior lambasted me or was not too pleased with something, it now makes you doubt to say, maybe I'm not yet ready. And you forget that at the end of the day, it's not about being 100% ready. You will never be 100% ready. Even registered people are always learning on the job. So I think those are some of the challenges that I faced. And I just got to a point where I was like, okay, let me just submit and then let EXA tell me where is it that I'm lacking. Because sometimes you feel like you're lacking, but people have been telling you for like 3 years, like, dude, why are you not submitting? Why, you know? So yeah, I think it was also, the main thing was also like just a confidence thing, just to feel like, yeah, I know enough.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yanko. So, you know, everything you've said is valid. Ne? The first point is that a lot of people, I don't know where this comes from, but they understand it to be managing engineering problems. That is not correct. Registration is about engineering problems. So also another thing that everybody should be understanding is solving an engineering problem follows certain steps, right? If you are going to make sure that the solution is safe for the people and the environment. So actually engineering is a way of thinking. So actually, if you zoom down, it doesn't really matter whether Lebu was doing power lines for 2 years and was doing power stations for another 3 and then did, say for example, substation. What is very crucial by the time you write your engineering report, which is the time that you are ready to submit, ne, Yanko, you just need to submit some evidence. I always say to people, there are 2 criteria that you need to actually fulfill when you are doing that engineering report. You don't put 10 examples per outcome. You just choose the Engineering problem, that was the most complex, where you are the responsible person. Those are the two criteria. It needs to be complex, Yanko, because you are peer range. It needs to be a complex problem. And then the second aspect, you need to be responsible at level E. The reason I say to people, choose the most complex one is because it's going to allow you to write exactly the way EXA, well, so in the chain, there's somebody who's called an assessor. So what the assessor looks for, right? If you use your most complex problem, if you use your most complex problem, you are going to be able to address all the different aspects. That's the beauty about it, you know? So I see what other people also do is for outcome one, they use 4 problems. No, guys, don't do that. The minute you use 4 problems, what you are doing is you are rewriting the training experience report. Please don't do that. Just choose your most complex problem and then run with that. And I don't mind if people choose 2 problems that they want to write in the engineering report. That's okay. But don't go and choose 4. Don't do it. That one is going to actually confuse the assessor. Another thing that is crucial to say to you, Yankone, with regards to you learning about roads and then learning about traffic and then learning about, so the outcomes are not specific to you using one problem. You can use any evidence as long as it meets the outcome and then it meets the level of responsibility. Because the other mistake that a lot of people make is they think they have to write about one project for all the outcomes. That is not correct. It is about an engineering problem. If you do manage a project, you have exceeded the requirements of outcome 4.
Yeah, no, now that I've written and submitted, I realized, I think also the starting to write kind of helped to link everything. Because I think also that's the other thing. In your head, you're telling yourself that nothing links, but once you start writing, you actually realize I actually know more than I think I know.
Exactly.
So I know you pushed me, so I did submit.
And I think the YouTube channels totally helped you, right, Yanko? Because there we did 2 videos where we said, how do you write the engineering report? What are things that you should be doing? What are things that you shouldn't be doing? And then once you know those rules, everything else is history. I think the only other thing I need to say to you guys who are still here on the thing is, everything you write in the engineering report, guys, it's history. Remember, the ER is evidence of your competence. So when you write it, it has already happened. You designed, you proposed, you simulated. It is not, so some people, what they do is they write it as if they are doing it now. You can't write it as if it's in the present. It is evidence of your competence. So therefore, you have done it in the past, and that is why you can say to the assessor, I am competent because I have done the following. So that's all I wanted to say. But well done, Yanko, for submitting. You're long overdue. And Jabu, long overdue.
Good day, Level. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes, my name is Njabulo. I'm one of the guys who actually lifted their hands just before the meeting started. In the group.
Yeah, I didn't see Askies.
No, not a problem. I've been working in the government sectors for almost 5 years now.
Yeah.
And I think the most delaying thing has been our initial start. Like when we first got employed, our employment contract states that at the end of the 5 years, we are required to be registered, but then there are no structures in place due to the lack of people being registered within the government permanently, like who are employed permanently in the government. Yeah. So I think for me, it speaks on how young technicians can get employed, especially in the government sector, whereby their training is not structured because there's no know-how from their superiors. Anyway, I'm not sure if I'm making sense, but that has been the most delaying thing for me, because I think it was only after like 2 years where a peer and I actually made a conscious decision to start looking at the Excel form and what it actually entails. And for a small thing such as maybe erecting a batching plant for concrete, you would find that there's this jargon that goes around with, see, this is how it's always been done. So they do it in a certain way. But when we started recognizing the requirements from EXA, we went through such as like things like environmental, you start investigating the environmental effects, the OHS effects, and things like that. So I think for me, that has been my delay in towards getting registered, and hopefully it's not going to be too long before I submit.
Okay, so I'm not going to be very nice to you, sir. Unfortunately. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, if I could probably tell you my journey. Sorry, guys, I just typed the name of the Inspire the Next Movement YouTube channel. Please just type it in there and follow. Oh, I'm going to check now how many followers are there. Go and subscribe. It's not following, it's subscribing. Njabulo, let me tell you, unfortunately, the sad part about owning your career development, owning your success, and those type of things. You know what? If there's somebody who's willing to hold you by the hand, like what I'm doing, like actually I've got groups and I watch people get into the group, leave the group, and I actually feel sorry for them, you know? Because clearly what this tells me is that they are not very clear on, they don't have a vision. So when you're a person and you have a vision, you are going to do anything possible to attain that vision. Now, Njabulo, if you have people in your company who are competent, like at Eskom, nobody really will suffer with peer range because I'm there. There are other people like myself who also mentor people in Eskom. If we mentor you, we just make the journey easy. That's why with Inspire the Next, I say connecting a dream achiever with a dream chaser. They make things a little bit easier for you. But the truth of the matter is, even if you do not have a mentor, you can totally do this journey. All you need to do, Njabulo, is download the standards, download the discipline-specific guidelines, download the policy, read the documents. Let me tell you now, when I registered in 2008, I went around asking people, yo, what should I write? I really don't know what should I write. And especially at Eskom, because you can't become senior until you have peer range. I'm telling you now, Njabulo, do you know what people told me? We did that 10 years ago. We don't remember what it's about. And unfortunately for me, because I wanted peer range, and it was the only way I was going to become senior engineer, I read the documents and I still didn't. So what I'm trying to say to you, the one obstacle that you probably have that is real for you is the issue of referees, right? Because you do need registered referees. But let me just say that also EXA does have room for you to apply and explain the circumstances that you have in your company. Remember now, I just shared the list in terms of priority. You can use your supervisor, your mentor, your this, your that, your client. So you do have clients, Njabulo. Just go and see if you do have clients that are registered, you do have people who are superior to you, who are not directly involved in your work. I do believe there's a way that you can overcome those challenges. Are you the same Njabulo who's nominated yourself for the case study?
Yes, that's me.
Oh, okay, you're the same Njabulo. All right, so in that case, Njabulo, obviously, now if you get my assistance on that, obviously the way you will write the report is going to be proper. That's the benefit you will get by volunteering. Just be ready to be open to constructive criticism, that's it. But obviously in terms of how you write and what you write, you're going to be sorted because you volunteered. And I mean, volunteering comes with people knowing your work, knowing your writing style. But I believe any man who's on a mission doesn't care about that, you know? they care about their ultimate goal. So thank you so much for volunteering yourself. So what I want to do, I want to encourage you, Njabulo, to go and download the policy. The policy talks about just the registration system. You've already passed that stage because I think you are in the coaching group, right? So you've already passed the policy stage. Even in terms of the standards, because there's a standard that actually addresses the different categories: PR range, PR tech, PR technologist. So go and download the standard for technicians, and then further to that, go and get the discipline-specific guideline for civil engineers. After you read that thing, I'm telling you, you are going to think to yourself, why have I not registered?
Yes.
Yeah, obviously it's nice when, yeah, because I think with what I do, I try and interpret, because I've also noticed that you can read those things, but they don't necessarily tell you things like how to write, what to write, you see? Like for now, I covered the 11 outcomes, but it is not necessarily clear to you what is required, what is complex actually. That's why I try and do classes on, you know, one day I'll do a class on just complexity. When we say a complex problem, what are we actually talking about? Unfortunately, I'm also just an employee, so time is really a challenge. So well done to you for doing today's class.
No, thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to the positive criticism and everything else.
Oh my God, are you looking forward to it? Because it's going to be open to everyone giving feedback. So as long as you're ready for that, then let's go. And it's better to actually be over prepared than under prepared, because the way we do the case studies is everybody who joins the class gets the document in advance, they read it, they find all the mistakes, they come to the class, I give like a guide of what was wrong in the report, what was right in the report, and then eventually we get to the final report. So I do believe you need to do one for technician and one for technologist. So I'm just going to start with the technician one. Well, before I turn 40,
thank you so much.
Before I turn 40, huh? After I turn 40, I might just be lazy. Who knows? I might be like, these people can do it.
It's a new life.
So guys, I encourage you to go to the YouTube channel and watch, because for real, those videos are not going to be free forever. The reason I actually did them was because of lockdown. I thought during lockdown, it is a perfect time to empower people. Yes, go for it, Buyani.
Hi, Lebo, how are you? I just wanted to get clarity because I have 6 years experience after graduation with the national diploma. So I just completed my BTech this year.
Okay.
So now I need an advice, or whether is it advantageous to wait and register as a technologist, or should I rather, because I qualified to register as a professional technician, rather submit applications directly for technician, or maybe wait to acquire?
How long have you been? How long have you worked post graduating as after your BTech?
No, after BTech, there's none. There's zero, because I just did it this year.
You can't actually register as a technologist, because remember what I said?
Yeah.
Post the qualification, you need a minimum of 3 years. So actually, in your case, you can't go for technologist yet.
Yes. So I would have to wait for 3 years.
You have to wait for a minimum of 3 years. And then another thing that I need to say to you, Ne, is that you need to be doing broadly defined problems. Because there are other people who actually get a BTech and they continue to do clearly defined problems. Do you see the difference?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, guys, just pause for me. I just want to check something with Refile. Refile, can you kindly copy all the emails from the chat? Or have you done it?
Yeah, I've done it already, yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Yeah, because if I close this thing and then I forget, it will be lost. Yeah, so Vuyani, unfortunately, post-qualification, and it's literally from the time you graduate, you need a minimum of 3 years. And relevant experience. Guys, let me share a very interesting, I don't know if I should call it a dynamic or what should I call it? A very interesting dynamic. This is so interesting. Eh? So some of you might already know that I do actually review. I do support people in terms of reviewing the engineering report. And so a lot of the people that I actually review are people who have been put in abeyance. Guys, do you know what abeyance is? Abeyance is like when they tell you go back into industry and work another 12 months and then come back and submit. So a lot of people that I actually review the engineering report, they are put in abeyance. And then some of them have actually been declined. Declined is when they tell you, you are not doing engineering work. Sharp. What I wanted to share with you guys is this, and this really makes me sad. A lot of people are doing the relevant type of work, but how they represent their work to the reader or at the interview is not correct. So now what has happened now during lockdown is a lot of people that were put in abeyance, right? They gave me their report to review. And when I review the report, oh my God, I get so sad because actually the work they are doing is 100% relevant. The problem is what they are writing and how they are writing. And what, how they are writing. And then once I review the report and then I explain to them, Guti, actually, this is what, okay, because, you know, I have a lot of examples that I can probably use for a case study, but I need to obviously have the permission from the owner of the report. So I will see if maybe one of the candidates will allow me to use their report in exchange for me reviewing their final report for free. But what I'm trying to say is it is very important for you guys to actually see in real life what are the mistakes that people are doing. And that's how people come to say EXA is unfair, EXA is, because the work they are doing is really complex, but the way they write the information is not the way it's supposed to be written. So I want you, all of you, just like Yanko, I want you to take comfort in knowing that the fact that you are just in the industry, whatever work you are doing is probably enough. But the way you are writing it and how you are writing it is probably the problem. Guys, if you are really in doubt, do not submit before you contact me. Don't do it, because I think this is our 13th class, actually, since, is it May or April? And, you know, still when people write, they still make those errors that actually get them declined. So if you are really, you know, there are people after they watch a video, they're 100% confident. If you are not confident, please contact me before you submit. I saw a hand from, oh God, I think the person left because I don't see their hand anymore. Do we have any other questions, guys? I'm trying to see who I can.
Hello, Lebo.
Go for it. Yes, that was you. You dropped your hand. Go for it, sir.
Okay, no, my network just keep on disconnecting. Mm-hmm. What I wanted to ask is that is there need for a full 3 year? Because when I check a guide, the first year it talks about observing, and then the second year it's assisting. The third year will be doing engineering work, sort of taking a full responsibility. But if let's say maybe for the first year you do observing and assisting,
yeah,
or maybe you do 3 of them with, or from the first year you start with doing engineering work, whereby you take full responsibility. Of course, the professional have to take the actual full responsibility.
Yeah, the accountability. Yeah.
Yes, but does that one get to reduce the number of years if maybe you start from first day?
No, unfortunately
okay.
not. Unfortunately not. And unfortunately, remember when I did the presentation, I spoke about area of competence. So So what is expected in industry for you to really not endanger people's lives? And, you know, this is why we have people building bridges that collapse on people, buildings when it rains. Because, you know, people, what sometimes as a business that is chasing money will do is they will throw you into the deep end, and immediately you get to the business, you start designing solutions. But the truth of the matter is you will not be ready. So what EXA does is they ask the employers, I think all of you have heard of a commitment undertaking. What is supposed to happen there is that for the first 2 years, they ask all companies to train people. That's why you see the document saying you get exposed, you get assisting, you know. So slowly but surely, you are supposed to be taught how things are done right, simply because you don't want to endanger people's lives. So let me tell you another thing. I think it was it Spusiso? Shivambu. Shivambu was speaking. Shivambu, let me tell you also, if I read an engineering report, my friend, please hear me. This English is not my first language. So I'm going to try and put it as best as I can. If I get an engineer, because by the way, guys, I've been doing this for the last, since 2009. So I no longer read TRs because TR are just like a giveaway. Engineering report. If I take an engineering report and I see someone saying to me, in TR1, I did the following, I don't even read that, because there is no way in TR1 you are at responsibility level E. Are you happy with that, Shivam? Do you see that? Even if the people can throw you in the deep end, and you will not be at responsibility level E, for the simple reason that if something does go wrong on site and somebody has to make a decision immediately, it will not be you. And the other thing that I need to make you aware of, Shivam, even if you can write that TR1 responsibility level E, your referee is definitely going to say this person was training. So don't do that to yourself. Are you happy with that, Shivambu? Even if you say I was responsible at level E, I assure you your referee is going to say this person was training. Guys, please take this note home. When you are writing your training, your engineering report, nothing from TR1. I don't expect to see anything from TR1, except if you are talking about, I attended a project management course and I learned about project management. I learned about contracts, that can come from TR1. If you talk about impacts, environmental, social, and your understanding thereof, it can come from TR1. The core outcomes with this, which is outcome 1, outcome 3, outcome 7, outcomes 8, 9, 10, they cannot come from TR1. They need to come from, so if your TR stop at 6, you can start using TR4 going up. Does that English sound right? I'm asking you, Shivambu.
Yeah, my network keep on disconnecting.
Yeah, so my friend,
So
you
I
cannot,
didn't
you definitely
really
cannot.
get your question.
No, it's fine.
But
yeah, I understand. Okay, so I wanted to see on the chat. No, Shivambu, TR1 is not gonna work for you. The minute you say TR1, it's a problem because EXA allows you the first 2 years to learn on the job training. And then after 2 years, the last year, you are supposed to be responsible. So if in TR1, you are telling the reader you are responsible, it's not possible because every company is unique. Every company has its culture. Even if we all design power lines, every company does it differently. So definitely TR1 is not going to fly. I have a question from Tandega. Okay, Tandega says, I'm currently starting with my reports. I delayed because she thought the experience wasn't, okay. Okay, so this is a private message. So let me rather just read it. All right, so I like what Tandega. Okay. All right. Yes, Tandaga, you are right. Okay, so Tandaga is alluding to the fact that she hasn't registered because she thought she needs to do a project. No, guys, it's not a project. The bad news is that if you do manage a project, like a lot of civil engineers do, you have exceeded the expectations of outcome 4. That's all you have done. Because outcome 4, it says in managing engineering, just wanted to see if I can share quickly. Outcome 4 says managing engineering, engineering activities. There it is. So if you are doing a project, right, guys, please, oh God, so my screen is not even coming on. Okay, there it was on. So what happened? Let me show you guys this. So if you are doing a project, guys, if you manage a project, you are literally over exceeding outcome 4, because outcome 4 says manage part or all of an engineering activity. So if you actually manage the whole project, you have exceeded outcome 4. But that's all you've done. There's nothing fancy in terms of the requirements for registration. The core requirement is this, guys. Take this home please for me. The core requirement is defining a problem, and the core requirement is exercising engineering judgment in defining the problem. Let me take that again. The core outcomes of registration is investigating and analyzing some input information, applying some sound engineering judgment to that information in order to define the problem. The reason this is important is because not all problems are engineering problems. Some of the problems are not engineering. The only way you satisfy yourself is if it's an engineering problem, it will need you to apply some fundamentals, and it will need you to comply to some standards and requirements. That is the only way to go about this thing. Guys, let me just say this. I've recently opened another coaching group, and on that group, we're going to take everything we've done on the first group from A to Z. You know, because on the other group, people are already writing, people are already registering, people are going for interviews, people have passed the EA. So on the new group, we are going to take coaching from A, but I want to warn you, the only thing that is going to drive how much information is shared on that group is people asking questions. Nothing else. I'm not going to wake up and just randomly share something unless there's a YouTube video that you need to go watch or whatever. And for example, on the 22nd, there's going to be a webinar. I'll share that. But the rest of the time, what drives that group is people asking questions. If you do not ask questions, guys, ooh,
I have a question.
Go for it.
I wasn't sure that Litube, I wasn't sure that my mic is working, so I typed it.
No, you can say it now. Okay, I haven't. Okay, go for it. You can say it because your mic is working.
Okay, I have more than 10 years experience and have been working as a technician. And so obviously I'm going to have to write TEOs. Yeah, so on my engineering report, okay, when I do TERs, my first TER will probably start in 2015 until 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, so can I refer to TER1 because there I think I will be at a higher level of experience in literal forms.
Look, so the crucial thing here is it depends which outcome you are addressing. Ne? If you are addressing the soft outcomes, ne, Lutuba?
Yes, I'm listening.
You can use what you have summarized. The minute you talk about the core outcomes, my friend, there is no way but to use the last 3 years. Do you see why?
Okay, okay.
Yeah, because in those last 3 years, you are the responsible person. But something like a TOR, and this is something I'm telling people every day, you know, I really wish I had time because I would make a video, like once a week I would make a video. But unfortunately, I don't have the time. So when I get an opportunity, you know, on WhatsApp, I do say to people, some of the outcomes do not need you to be employed, because some of the people say, I'm retrenched, I'm currently not working, how do I address the outcomes? Some of the outcomes you can address without being employed, because what they need from you is understanding. Let me make an example with outcome 6. Outcome 6 says to recognize, you know, environmental, social impacts. My friend, you can totally take an EIA report and go read to understand the different impacts that an environmentalist looks into, and then understand what are the mitigating measures that an engineering professional will put in place to mitigate or reduce that impact. Am I lying, Lituba?
Yeah, I understand, yes.
So it is not necessarily doing the activity. What they want you to understand, let me say this, because right now, yes, Lebo is an employee of ESCOM, but one day I might be a consultant. So EXA just needs to know if I'm PRNG, I am aware there's environmental impacts. I am aware there's managing a project. I am aware that there's unethical matters. I am aware that there's standards to comply to. I'm aware there's theory. By the time I say to somebody, here's a solution, I've consulted some textbook. You see, it's a way of thinking that EXA wants you to acquire. It is not you being a specialist in designing cell phones, no. Because people who have actually spent time doing one activity in the aim of being a specialist actually fail. Because when you ask them about a contract, they have no idea what a contract is. So the 11 outcomes are designed for you to understand the full impact of an engineering problem. If you design a plane, it is beautiful. It can take 100 people from South Africa to Canada in 10 hours. But if something goes wrong in that plane, it will kill 100 people. So they need you. By the time you give the solution and you say, I'm confident, I am content, you need to be 100% sure that you have checked all these 11 outcomes. Are you happy, Lutupa?
Yes, I'm happy. I've got a last question. Sorry, I saw one guy also.
Go for it. Remember, I'm old, Lutupa. Don't. Hey, I'm 40.
Yeah, no.
You must go easy on me.
This one, okay. I have graduated my BTech last year.
We are almost done, my darling. We're actually done. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I have graduated my BTech.
Yanko. Just go follow the YouTube channel there, Yanko, before you leave. Yes, go for it, Lutupa.
Okay, I graduated my BTech last year in 2019.
Yeah.
So now I'm also busy with my professional engineering with the report for professional technician. So I want to know, should I wait to be registered as a professional technician before I can register as a candidate for technologist, because I also have a BTech?
How long have you been working after your BTech?
In total, it's 12 years, and about 7 years I was a senior technician even now.
No, so my friend, you just need to go to, you don't need to even go to candidate. Just go straight to professional technician. I mean, sorry, technologist.
Okay.
Technologist, sorry, I wanted to say technologist. Guys, it is possible to go to the professional category without being candidate. So Lutube, you must just go and register as a professional technologist. You have more than enough. I'm very sure that probably when you write, you're gonna get stuck because this exercise needs guidance, you know? Definitely needs guidance, but in terms of what you have done, definitely it will be adequate, you know? And for the moment, that's like the the biggest contribution probably that I give to engineering, because people do the right work, but they don't know how to write it. So when I review the ER, that's literally what I do. It's like, okay, Lutubo, you haven't written this. This thing actually wants that, you know. And then typically each report I review 3 times. I don't review a report more than 3 times. Because if you 3 times you don't get the message, then obviously we're going into the zone I don't like, the spoon feeding zone. So I don't do spoon feeding. I do active learning, you know, like I do trade-off. So this is the thing you learn, and then, because it's also important for your interview. If you don't take those lessons, you're going to fail the interview.
All right, no, thank you.
Yeah, go
so
for
now
technology.
Okay, no, thanks.
I see there's okay, I just needed to see. Okay, so that one was your question, so we've addressed it. Oh, okay, so somebody asked, how do you join the coaching group? Yo, yeah, let me just see. I'm gonna try something quickly because let me try something quickly. Okay, I've got your email address. Okay, so it's Clement who's asking that. Ooh, my friend, where did you see the post? Because the best thing for me to do is, can you drop me a WhatsApp, please? And then I'll send you the link. Because I'm on a laptop. I really don't know how to share the link on the laptop. So I'm going to drop my WhatsApp number, and then you can drop me a message saying, drop the link. Ne? Mr. Mohapi. My father's name was Mohapi. Perfect. Thank you, Mohapi. Guys, I just want to see if we've got any other. Oh, okay. So somebody is asking about, they've written the report. Okay. So to you, Mr. Mateba, please use my number. Send me a WhatsApp, ne? So yours, we can resolve. Just send me a WhatsApp. That's perfect. So guys, I was just scrolling here on the, yeah. So I think we are done with all the questions. And I think, guys, did everybody drop their email address, ne? Yeah, it looks like everybody dropped their email address. So we're going to have to close the class now. Okay, so guys, the ones that are asking about the coaching group, I have just put my WhatsApp number on the chat. Just drop me a WhatsApp and then I will send you the link. Because at the moment I'm using my laptop, so I don't have WhatsApp on my laptop. So just drop me a WhatsApp saying you're asking for the coaching link, and then I'll send it to you. Guys, I need to close the class now. Yo, I'm tired. Like, if you can see my calendar, you'll be, I've just shared that. Oh, this number is going to a private person. Okay, just hold on. Let me go to everyone. I didn't see that. It was defaulted to private. Okay, there it is. I've shared the number. Guys, just drop me a WhatsApp on that number and then I will send you the link. Yeah, thank you guys. Let me just give you a high five for making the time on this Puza Thursday. Today's Puza Thursday. You made time to prioritize your goals. Well done to you. We'll see you at the next class. Remember, the next class, we're going to have a case study. So guys, do join us and empower yourself. And that empowerment is obviously going to be coming free, you know, because I'm very passionate about empowering my people. We have to be together in this. And those who know me know my hashtag. It says, together we are stronger. With that, good night, guys. We'll talk soon. Refila, just make sure you copy all the emails before I close the meeting. Can I get a yes?
Yes, never have all the emails, huh?
Yeah, some people just send them now. Oh, is this, these are just thank you messages. Okay, perfect. All right, guys, see you soon. Okay, actually, see you on the 22nd, because then we're having a webinar. It's going to be late. Call your friends. Bye.
Night.
Night, night.